Good evening and welcome to the Wiki News. I'm Carlos and tonight we'll be presenting to you one of the most indirect and dangerous conflicts of all time. That conflict is the Cold War. The Cold War originated after World War II and stood between the years of 1945 and 1986. The war was mainly fought between the USA and the Soviet Union. The conflict peaked during the Cuban Missile Crisis that occurred due to Russia taking their nuclear equipment to Cuba. And in response, the US had taken their nuclear equipment to Turkey. We have a survivor of the Soviet Union that's its rise and downfall. His name is Hiroo Ohara. And there we have our main reporter, Irina. Thank you.
Was a 20th century conflict between the United States of America, the Soviet Union, and their respective allies over political, economic, and military issues, often described as a struggle between capitalism and communism. Two major events led to the Cold War: the Yalta Conference and the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Yalta Conference took place in the Russian resort town in Crimea from February 4th to February 11th, 1945, during the World War II. At Yalta, U.S. President Roosevelt, British Prime Minister Charles Hill, and the Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin made important decisions regarding the future progress of the war and the post-war war. The Cuban Missile Crisis of October 1962 was a direct and dangerous confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War, and was the moment when the two superpowers came closest to nuclear conflict. This crisis was unique in a number of ways, featuring calculations and miscalculations, as well as direct and secret communications and miscommunications. The dramatic crisis was also characterized by the fact that it was primarily played out at the White House and the Kremlin level, with relatively little input from the respective bureaucracies typically involved in the foreign policy. Here was Soldier Harrisburg, who was a witness of the Berlin Wall in the Cold War. He will tell us some things about his experience. Just to give you some background information, in 1961, the Russians reinforced the fortification between East and West Germany and Berlin. So please, could you tell us some things about your experience? How was it? What was the environment?
Well, I remember it began as a layer of border wire, and it quickly evolved into the barrier several layers full of watchtowers, searchlights, anti-personnel mines, and border girls who was being ordered to shoot to kill whoever was near it. When I was 10 years old, my parents were terrified of it. Anyway, we used to receive shelter, food, and goods from the Americans and British, who had art aircraft designed to keep West Berlin's inhabited alive. After that, it all moved pretty quickly, and the Soviet sector formed East Berlin. It became the capital of the new East Germany then. And remaining three sectors united to form West Berlin, and the West Germany capital moved to the town of Boom. We were from there and here. We told we are Germany. We told them to be Soviet. It was confusing, and it really to give me a complicated childhood.
Oh, well, that must have been hard to go through. What was the political background behind all this? Did you, soldier, have any knowledge on the political situation? What was going on?
Well, I did not have any special knowledge what was actually happened until I was 14. I remember that after World War II, Europe and split into two parts. The eastern part controlled by Stalin, and which pushed communism, and the Western parts which sided with the capitalism. I remember the speech where Churchill described these divisions as the iron curtain. The US tried to stop the expansion of communism by providing money and rebuilding West Europe under the Churchill Plan.
That was a really interesting report, Irina. Following the events of the war, a new organization was created to promote peace and security in the world. The organization was named NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which was created by the United States of America. It has as its main members Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, the Great Britain, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, and Portugal. In this post-war world, an organization like this was really good to maintain peace in the world. We've reached our closing remarks for the night. Good night. Let's go on.